Well, here we are. It's been about a year. Well, I mean, it's about 3/4 of a year. Is that a thing? Since Avengers has been released, Marvel's Avengers, the video game. And I'm just now really getting around to playing it and sinking my teeth into it and diving into it. And I thought it would be kind of a good idea to give my thoughts, almost like a diary, as I play the game, an hour here, an hour there, and give somewhat of a comprehensive review of my experience of what I've noticed in the game. So this is the first part of that series. Let's get into it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the channel. I am Gabriel Fast, and I do claim to be the Wannabe Critic. Today, I'm excited to talk about this game because it is so polarizing. It is the definition of polarizing. I feel like you either really like this game or you just really don't like this game. On Twitter, I kind of bashed this game even before it even came out. I was like, it looks like crap. I'm not excited for it. And it's interesting to sit down with it now and really try and, judge it from a purely objective standpoint, trying not to be too hateful on it. And I gotta say, so far I've enjoyed my time, but I do have a couple of notes that I'd like to mention. I do have to apologize ahead of time and say the footage that I got towards the beginning of the game it got corrupted somehow, and I don't have access to that now, which is super irritating, but I'll be able to show off what I do have. We follow Kamala Khan, who realizes that she has obtained superpowers after the fallout of the events of what has been known as A-Day, which was the day that Captain America has been supposedly dead, and that's the day that the Avengers basically fell from grace. There's a lot of political fallout. Essentially, there was a catastrophe that happened basically on this giant airship called the Chimera, in which Kamala Khan, who is a Avengers super fan, was basically there on invitation from the Avengers because she submitted a short story that really got the Avengers' attention, and she was there along with her other fellow attendees who were there for this event. But kind of chaos broke loose. There was a coordinated attack against San Francisco, against the Avengers, and it was coordinated in such a way to where the Avengers essentially had to disband because they could no longer prove to be helpful to the situation anymore. So Kamala is on a quest to basically find the Avengers, to figure out what happened, to find the Chimera, and, to put the pieces together of what happened is where we find ourselves. I have to say, I really like Kamala Khan. As Miss Marvel, is who they're trying to build her out to be, and I really like her as a character. She's just kind of full of wonder and full of spunk, and she really brings a nice breath of fresh air to video games in general. I don't think I've ever really experienced a video game character like her before, really, and I really, really like the personality that she brings. The early combat of the game feels pretty good for the most part, especially when you're playing as Kamala. Whenever she essentially is able to steal herself away, she's able to kind of trick her parents into thinking she's actually somewhere else, when in actuality she's pursuing the Chimera, to which she was kind of tipped off to some information about the organization that was involved in the Avengers' downfall, which is AIM, and she's able to kind of put some pieces together to where, hey, this is about where the Chimera fell. So she goes to the Chimera and she finds basically what's left. It's it looks like something has happened there. It looks like there's people there at one time, but maybe they're not there now. And it's kind of interesting to see her kind of explore, and you get to, kind of get a feel for her as a character a little bit more. Lo and behold, we find out that AIM has been tracking her since she was tipped off to this information, and was basically, they were tracking her to the Chimera. And we also learn that the Incredible Hulk, aka Bruce Banner, has been there for X amount of time, which we don't really know, in which he assists Kamala Khan in trying to fight off the AIM robots and, navigate the ship of the Chimera. Also, she finds Captain America's shield, which is really, really cool. In this gameplay kind of trade-off, they kind of surmise that to be able to progress further, they have to retrieve Jarvis, the hard drive, the AI known as Jarvis, because he'll be able to kind of push things forward. There's some kind of back and forth in terms of gameplay between Kamala Khan and Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, to where Kamala Khan just felt like a way better feeling character. And I do have to say, I am playing this on PS5, so, the adaptive triggers, there is a weight to the trigger whenever you play the game. It feels completely different from because I tried to play this game on PS4 a long time ago, and it feels completely different. It does make the game feel more enjoyable. It feels like there's really a weight or a pressure to the game that wasn't really there before. That being said, even a year later, I would have thought that they would have cleaned up the combat a little bit, or I guess almost a year later. Especially when playing as Hulk, because Hulk is frustrating in that sometimes you feel like the most awesome, like, hulking Hulk of all time, but then other times it's like the most irritating thing ever. Like, why is this chump able to block my punches? Like, I am a hulking mass of gamma. Like, I should not be able to be held back by anything. And I think that's kind of where the gamey aspect really shows itself here, is that there are times where you feel like Hulk, and then, I mean, there's other times where you just feel like you're completely helpless because Hulk is so hard to control in many aspects. Now, in terms of the story, we're able to kind of, we are able to infiltrate where the Avengers stuff is being held, and we're able to retrieve Jarvis and all that jazz. But getting there is kind of a interesting process because, we're kind of, like I said, we're going back and forth as Hulk and Kamala. And it's crazy to me how I can play as Hulk and be like, man, I should feel awesome right now. Like, I should really feel like the Incredible Hulk, yet I don't. And then you switch to Kamala Khan, which I guess you could argue is kind of the main character of the game, I guess, at this point. But, and again, this is all reactionary. I haven't beaten the game yet. I'm just playing off of my experience, for the past hour or two, and just giving you kind of like a hot take as to what I'm feeling. But I don't know. It's just, it feels nothing against Kamala. Like, Kamala's a great character, but the question that comes to mind is, should Kamala feel like a better character, like really play better than the Incredible Hulk? I mean, it's the Hulk, right? I don't know. I just have a lot of thoughts. I'm a huge Hulk fan. Like, he's like my second favorite Avenger. And in the comics, he's awesome. So I'm just waiting for a moment where I just feel really BA as the Hulk. And I didn't feel that at all as I played through this. I mean, you fight Abomination, for God's sake. Like, this first time playing as the Hulk. And in a way, it just did not feel, in many ways, it just did not feel satisfying at all. So I don't know, like, I'm definitely going to finish this game. Like, I'm definitely going to give updates as I continue to play. And, like, I'm going to try and release this series all at once after I've compiled everything together. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I want to try and have an open mind about the game. I like where the story's going, You can kind of see Kamala inching her way into the, one step closer to being an Avenger, whether she realizes it or not. But we can see that as the player. And I don't know, it's just kind of an interesting journey to go on to because it is fun. And I think that's what's frustrating is that sometimes it's really fun, but other times it's really not fun. So we'll see what my theory, we'll see how it progresses as I continue. If you've already beaten this game, if you've played it, let me know if you're resonating with anything. But that's all I have for this time. I really, really appreciate you watching this. Definitely let me know what you think of in the comments down below. Definitely check out the other links that are down below as well for the various projects that I'm a part of and that I work on. It would really mean a lot. And before I go, check this out. Well, whatever possessed you to check out any of the content that you saw today, I just want to say thank you so much for doing so. If you check the description down below, you'll see that there's a variety of different projects that I'm associated with. This is Wannabe Critic Productions after all. So I just wanted to say if you enjoyed what you saw today, consider giving some of those other projects a chance as well. There's a lot of stuff that I'm a part of that that I do. If you were here for me or for someone else that you saw today, again, just thank you for checking it out, and I hope to see you again. But until next time, I'm Gabriel Fast, and I'll always be the Wannabe Critic.